Today I'm going to talk a bit about the difference between work-in-progress assets and shared assets within Tactic Project. What we want is we want to have a clean sharing of assets. The assets that are shared amongst other projects are finished assets that can be reused, whereas work-in-progress assets are assets that might be in some state, that might be delivered, that need to be reviewed upon and going through the various workflow processes of a project. And so having this clean separation ensures that people outside working in these projects don't search through all the mess and junk that's been uploaded and reviewed within the job itself. What we have is we have a collection of shared assets that are clean and reusable. So, for example, I can go in and, as you can see, we have a workflow here, and we've got a number of processes. And what I'm going to do is ingest some files into the ingest process. So we can go in, and I will just upload these two images, and these will become work-in-progress assets within the project itself. It can't be searched upon by other projects. That's okay. They are going through the various stages, and it has been attached to this ingest process. I can see that. I can try and go and download that, and we can see that there are indeed these files. There was one that I had uploaded earlier. We can see that there are these three files in here, and I had these sitting on my hard drive, so I was able to just upload it and ingest. But of course, in projects, I'd like to go get files that are from other projects. And so what I can go do is go in and search the library. And so this library, I will be able to say, for example, look up beach, and we can see all the assets that have the keyword beach attached to this. And that's great, because now I've found a couple of more assets, and I'm going to be able to go in and copy these from the asset library into my project. And are now part of the project for use as you wish. Now, say I've created a new asset. What I can do is select one of these, and now I can push this to the library. And so what this does is it opens up a window that allows me to copy these files into the asset library. Now, it gives you the opportunity, of course, to add some more keywords that you would want to have to be able to search on them. And I can also say that this is an image, and I will copy this file. Now, what this does is it goes and copies it into the asset library. Now, this is great because now we have a nice separation, and now this becomes available. For example, I can go back and search in the library, and when I do search on, for example, beach, I will now have the asset in there, and this is a nice asset that is shared. We can also share assets to other applications entirely. So, for example, if we had a library where we could, in fact, push something, then what we can do is, for example, send it to a client portal. So I could choose these two images, for instance, and send it to my client portal. And from here, I'll be able to put some keywords, set in an asset type, maybe some use restrictions, and then what I do is I copy them over to the external library. Now this would be a library that's a completely separate project. So if we go to our client portal, we'll be able to come here and see that there are indeed now two assets, and I can go look it up and say that these assets are now indeed here. We can go take a look at them. At this point, I'm able to select these assets and, for example, download them. So having a client-facing library that contains only the published assets that you have pushed from Tactic Project is very powerful, because within Project, you can manage the creation and alteration of work-in-progress assets as they go through the workflow. And then at some point, you're able to publish it to a client-facing library. And then you can provide your clients with the ability to search for these assets and be able to download them and repurpose them as they need to be able to do, without having to see all the project and work in progress data, having access only to the finished assets.